Alright, so I've got this meter here next to my current, well, as of now, current meter, which I've had since the early 2000s. It's a Suntech P37772, just a Chinese thing. But I've actually had this thing for years. It's actually been left outside during a rainstorm, and I took it apart, and it still works. But this is the one that you have seen me using in all my videos and such like that. One thing that's nice about it is it did come with the temperature probe on it, which I have never used. I have no use for a temperature probe when I have a commercial grade Comark K-type probe thermometer. But yeah, so we've got that, and we've got the hold button. Nothing really special. It weighs a decent amount. This one weighs, actually, you know what, they probably actually weigh about the same, but this one is definitely feels, I mean, this has this little rubber thing around it, which really, I mean, taking that off, that practically is about half the weight there. But looking at the bare meters, yeah, not much to compare, really. But the range switch on Fluke is a lot better. Obviously, there's not as many ranges, but again, this is an auto-ranging meter. And it's also the FM, or 27/FM is an auto-ranging meter. Oh wait, we've got a calibration sticker on here. U.S. Army calibrated instrument, date calibrated July 9th, 2012. Calibration void October 27th, 2014. Wow. So this thing is actually still certified calibrated. That's pretty cool, actually. But yeah, we'll turn it on here. DC volts. Powers up, takes a little bit. Ranging, it's got a little bit of a beep there to it. It's got the minimum and maximum feature. The hold, and it's not a hold like this one here. You read something and you press hold, and it just holds whatever is on the display at the time. This is actually the I think what do they call it, touch hold, where it doesn't hold until it actually gets a reading. And we have a bar graph on the bottom here. No backlight. I mean, you can hear the quality of the range switch on this compared to that. But again, this has so many more steps to it because it's not auto ranging. This one you just switch it to volts AC or volts DC, and you switch your range with your range button here, or I believe it's auto ranging. Again, I'm not too familiar with this meter, but you can see the old probes aren't even shielded probes like this one here. This was that came with the cheapo multimeter, but the sockets still allow you to fit that in there. And these are, you can see the sockets on these are crap, but yeah, so let's try this with DC volts. I don't know, I think I've got a battery here or something. We'll try that. Get the other probe out of here. Zero that out. And we'll put our hold on. It's beeping. 8.13 volts. And see, it now holds it. Whereas if I would do that on the other multimeter, well, obviously it's not going to hold it until you press the hold button. But as you can see, and it doesn't even matter if I put hook it up correctly or not. You can see the bar graph will jump up. It's just, and it'll range there. It's setting itself to 30 volt range, and we get about 8 volts out of that battery. Well, negative 8 volts because I have it connected backwards. And we'll connect it forwards. And there we go. And it holds the display like that, and minimum, min max, minimum was 0.01, maximum is 8.14. So I don't have anything else really other than this battery to test it with at the moment, but we'll test our continuity here. 0. That's a decent, the beeper on it is definitely nice compared to let's just, whoops, sorry. That was a nice little pop that I heard when I pulled that probe out of there. So those must be sealed connectors. We'll switch it to our ranging here. We have a little note here indicating that it's got the tone. And that's the, granted it is like instant. This one, the Fluke, takes a bit to sound that it has continuity. Like, it doesn't have that scratchy, but it's definitely a much louder beep than the other one. And the nice thing about it, it's got an off position at the bottom or at the top, so it doesn't matter which setting you're on. Just turn the knob vertical and it's going to be off. I'm not sure if this has an auto shut off, but it does have a nice flip out bail on it to stand it up, which this meter doesn't have, obviously. And I'm probably going to end up getting comments or something that I'm comparing apples to oranges when it comes to meters, which I am, but I'm just comparing it to what I have and what I'm used to using. So yeah, anyway, but which isn't quite really bad at all, considering that, let me get the battery in here. If you look at my first digital meter, I should say, I do have a couple analog meters still that I have packed away up at my parents' place, but yeah, this was my original meter that I had purchased. This was my first digital meter. I think I bought it at Walmart. Can't remember. But I actually blew the ass out of this thing testing or trying to find a short in my in the tailgate of my old Jeep I used to have, and I completely fried the unfused DC amp meter reading. And as you can see here, I don't know if that'll show up on the camera, but the input jacks are actually broken. Like, this one has a chunk out of it. This one's bent down here. I mean, you can look through the input jacks and you can see the back of the case here. I mean, that's just garbage. But I mean, it does still work. Accuracy is probably questionable. It actually has a backlight, such as it is. That doesn't do anything. I don't think I ever even used the backlight. It's just two green LEDs behind the LCD. But yeah, that's junk. This one here isn't too bad. I mean, it's got a little flip-up display. It doesn't have a tilting bail, but it's got a flip-up display, which I've never used. Probably because I was afraid it would end up breaking off or something. But yeah, so but as far as the battery compartment goes here, I mean, this has a nice sturdy flip-up stand on it, and for threaded insert screws for the battery. And we're not going to take this whole thing apart. If anybody wants me to actually take this thing apart and poke around inside it, leave a note in the comments or something, and that'll be in a further video. Well, not further, but a following video. Oh, that's nice. How the battery is actually in this little housing here. It's actually held in with a couple little plastic tabs, and it's just a leaded battery connector like the other meters, like the cheapy meters have. But that's neat how it's in there like that, and it does have an O-ring seal, so presumably this meter is sealed completely. Again, I haven't read the manual, but there we have nice huge ceramic high current fuses in there, compared to this little crappy one, little glass fuse in there. Granted, it is fused, but like I said, it didn't really help it when I fried the thing. This one here has the same kind of fuse, and this one here surprisingly actually does have metal threaded inserts in the case, one of which the post has broken off, so it's only held together actually with 2 screws. But yeah, that's a neat battery holder in there. I was expecting the 9-volt to just be either sitting in there or like actually have spring terminals that you would snap the battery into. But yeah, so let's get this back together. Fuse, but it shows on here the fuses and the batteries. Get that back together, okay. And here we have fuse 1 is 600 volts, 1 amp, and 15 amp 600 volt, 9 volt standard, need a 1604 battery, and it's double insulated. And again, John Fluke Manufacturing Company Inc., Everett, Washington, made in USA, patents pending. So there we go. That's the Fluke 27FM. Not really a real test or a review or anything like that, but hey, I've got a Fluke. Yay. I've got an actual meter that I can actually rely on and don't have to wonder, okay, well, is this right or is it something else that's wrong? But anyway, yeah. So, and bonus, it's actually it's been actually calibrated or tested at least fairly recently, only 2 years ago, and it's still in calibration till the end of this year. So yeah, but questions, comments, yeah, leave them below. So again, thanks for watching.